Welcome to week 5. We're nearly to the end of our discussion, and this week we are looking at something that's very familiar. For those of us in industry, we're looking at it from the perspective of compliance with the existing regulations, and for those of us in the enforcement or regulatory perspective, looking at it from the idea of enforcement of those existing regulations. And it comes to a core question of why we're complying with or why we're enforcing those regulations. And there can be a wide range of responses for why we do that, but we can really distill it down to about 3. Those that are looking to circumvent or to do the loophole sort of version of the regulations, and varying degrees of that from PCA fraud on the way down to something more innocent or something a little more about regulatory burden. We can do an approach where we say we look at the regulations, that's what's required if we're going to be in this field, and we go forward with exactly that. And there are those that look at it and say, the regulations don't go far enough. They're really just a floor. They're not the most I can do. They're the minimum that I can do, and we can do better. And it gets into our regulatory stakeholder perspective to say, when we look at compliance with the regulations or enforcement of, and that motivation question, what stakeholder is the motivation for? Is the motivation for the consumer and protecting that consumer's interest in health or in accurate labeling? Or is that interest for industry or for the company, either to stay afloat if it's in a situation like that, or to make a better profit that it could be with more onerous regulation? The regulations can cost profit, in other words. And so that's what we're going to pick up in the audio lecture, is to see what stakeholders at the center of our focus and why we're focusing on compliance and enforcement in the regulatory lifecycle. And I'll join you there.